Inside of the UB Learns course, there is just a simple document that has information about how to download the Google Arts and Culture app. And they have expanded. They used to be pretty much mainly virtual reality tours. But now that I was in there this past weekend, they have all kinds of games and activities and augmented reality. I was able to pull up a Van Gogh painting and float it in the middle of my living room, look at the brush strokes, and they're definitely getting a lot of mileage out of the Google Arts and Culture app. But a question came up, the progression of these workshops. The first one we just did a very simple, how can you take a 360 photo using a simple smartphone, and then we placed them into Google Street Maps. So it's kind of your base level. Google Arts and Culture is more of high-end virtual tours. You can view these on a browser or using, I think other devices, but they don't have the gyroscope movement, meaning when I hold my phone up that I can move it around. So when you find one of the tours that you would like to look at, you recognize that it's a tour from the little Pegman icon. I'm going to put this link right into the chat so you can pull it up on your own browser. Have us kind of explore. You don't have to explore the same thing I did. I went into the libraries. If you wish to explore something else, feel free to click on explore at the top and find something that is of interest to you. And then look for one of the tours. I think they're putting a lot more stuff in, so it's harder for me to narrow down on the tours. I'm going to go back to where I was in the libraries. So once you click on the little Pegman icon, you can move around. You can drag the screen. If there are options to go to other rooms, you see these markers show up, and you can travel into the other rooms. You can also use your arrows on your keyboard to navigate. So, it really makes a lot more impact when you move things around yourself. You can also see what is nearby. And this is where I think I got to, some of the paintings. The Albright Knox is closed right now, but we can view that in Google Arts and Culture. So you might even ask students, what does the Albright Knox Art Gallery, how does it compare to the Louvre in France? Have them go through both tours and maybe make some comparisons. I'm going to kind of leave it as, I'm just going to introduce Google Arts and Culture, and then the second half of the workshop where we have time for more conversation and sharing. You can pull things up and maybe share back what you've found. But in addition to, just showing you the Google Arts and Culture, if you download the app, I don't think it's just a different format. But so you don't have to use the app. You can view the tours on just a straight browser. But they also have a very nice YouTube channel. So, in order to use the gyroscope feature, so that if you move your phone, the scene will move with you, you usually look on your phone. You have to turn your phone sideways. Otherwise, the little icon doesn't show. But you're looking for a little Google Cardboard icon. So this little icon will show up on your video and usually in the bottom right corner. And that tells you whether or not you are required to move the video with your finger, or if you can put it into one of these Google Cardboard headsets and just move it around. I do have a few of those headsets here in my office, so if anybody ever wants to borrow one, see what they actually look like. If you don't have one, you're welcome to make an appointment with me so you know that I'm here and I can lend them to you. And I also have a plastic version, which is pretty much the same as the cardboard. So this is the cardboard version. You can get these for about $5 on Amazon, sometimes less if you buy a whole bunch. And these plastic versions, some of them, I think this one was $10. So they're not an expensive purchase. This pretty much can change the view so that I can view augmented reality as well. So it's got a hole in the device so that I can, as I'm looking, augmented reality superimposes something in my physical world. So I can look at a dinosaur walking around in my space or swim with the whales or whatever. So you're welcome to come by and borrow either one of those. If it would have been a hands-on session, I could have, I would have had them with me. But before I move on to how to create an interactive tour, are there any questions? Okay. So the software that I'm going to demonstrate is called Coola, K-U-U-L-A. And there are many different types of virtual tour software that are available. What makes it a tour is when you can click on something to have it do something. So you can have either a photo or sometimes a 360 video, and you can add hotspots. So if you would like to follow along and create a tour, you're welcome to do that, or you can just kind of watch as I go through. So this is the Coola homepage. And if you do want to follow along, you do need to create an account. And it does allow for a good amount of free items. I'm just going to show you some of the pricing options. So this one, it gives you a pretty good amount. So for the free version, it says that you can upload 100 times per month. You're able to do some retouching of the images, not a lot, just very basic. Levels are the color correction. So if you took a photo and it wasn't exposed enough or exposed too much, or you want to make it more warmer shades of autumn colors or whatever the case might be. You can share through social media, which is a big thing to look for. And it's compatible with just a straight browser, just a plain basic computer, laptop or desktop. It's also compatible with the cardboard devices that I just showed you, the cardboard or the plastic kind. There's also one of those plastic versions, a little different brand at Silverman Library that can be checked out. So if you're closer to that end of the campus. And in addition, you can also post these tours and have them be able to be viewed on the Oculus Go, Daydream. But these platforms, they change so readily. So I think I've kind of said this through the whole series. You just have to be a lifelong learner nowadays. When you are searching for something, always use this tools option if it's something that gets updated regularly, and just limit. So if you click on tools, it gives you the option to say, I want to search for things that have only been posted in the past month. So you know that what you're looking for is going to be current. When you're dealing with technology, technology changes. So you can't rely on, I was in a workshop last year, I learned about this. Well, this may no longer be around. So you need to be able to say, okay, what is the current focus? So with Tiny Planet Editor, they don't have a visual of that. Tiny Planet is a way to view a 360 image. So these are examples of a tiny planet. It takes the 360 video and puts it into a circle. It's kind of, some people like how that looks, and then you can blow up that planet and look at it instead of the flat version that we've been looking at for the most part throughout this series. And you get just basic support, which is what you get when 99% of the free tools. So if you wish to follow along, if you have your own 360-degree photo, Dom, you have one, just make sure that it's somewhere where you know where to grab it. But you can also go to the Unsplash website. And I'm going to put this link into the chat. And they will allow you to download 360 images that people have uploaded. It's kind of like Flickr. And I guess that Flickr would probably have 360 photos that you can download as well. But this will serve our purposes. I downloaded this image earlier just to play around with it. You do want to, make sure that if you're going to make this public, get permission from the person who created the image. I don't know if they have it listed about whether or not you can use the image. I haven't seen that yet, but feel free to select one of the images, download it to your computer. Actually have that one already. So I'm going to cancel. And then I'm going to have you go into the Coola website. Put a link in the chat there as well. And you do need to create an account if you want to follow along. And so I will give everybody a minute or two to do that if they're following. So, all right, so hopefully if you were interested to create an account for Coola, you've done that already. So once you're signed in, you can hit the upload menu and we are going to create a tour. And you need to give your tour a name. You can give it a description. And then you would select the images that you want in your tour. So I am going to select this image that I just downloaded. And it's available. And you can also look, there's some settings that you're able to use. You can choose what kind of icon you want to have for your tour. I think that's what that's for. You can choose whether it's public or private. And some of these other items, unlisted, where you can keep it private but still share the link with someone. That's one of the pro features. And the walkthrough mode, that's an extra cost as well. But so once you get that set up, you can hit post. And this is the editing environment. So you can, move the scene around. And if I wanted to add a hotspot, so if I wanted to explain this is my husband's truck, I could click that and it puts the hotspot on my image. I can then move that hotspot where I want it to be. And I can change the size and the opacity, or they also have different types of images that you can use. So if this is the standard, but if you wanted to use, if you wanted to put up a video, you can put up an icon that looks more like the YouTube icon, so that you can have somebody then play a video that explains what that truck is all about. You can just pick that one. And then you can also make it scale. And I think if you have like a map, you can put it on a table and it will put perspective on your icon so that it looks flat. That's for it. You can give it a name. Make some special graphic, and then you can say, what do I want to do? Do I want to go to a different card to show a video or text? Do I want to go to a website? Do I just want to play some music? So I'm going to just pick, we'll go to the Buffalo website. And I can have that open up in a new window. You can have your icon animate so that when people get their icon over it, it gives them a little bit more of a symbol that it's clickable. And then when you get that all saved, you can hit save. And then you have the ability to grab the link for it. So when you're back on the initial page, you can then get the link. Down at the bottom, you have these tabs. I'm going to just copy this link and I'll put that into the chat. And just to show you how easy it is to create a tour with a hotspot. Okay, where's my hotspot? Did I hit save? Let me go back and make sure that I hit save. So thank you all very much for making time. And hopefully next week when we show the merge cube, that should be pretty fun. And I sent in the email yesterday a link to print out the merge cube. So I thought you'd maybe need a little bit more heads up. You actually need a piece of paper and a printer, which is maybe not in what everybody's arsenal nowadays, and a pair of scissors, real scissors. So you cut the merge cube out. My merge cube is at home, so I can't show it to you. And you fold it up into a cube. We'll then be able to hold that cube in our hand and map augmented three-dimensional stuff onto the cube. So that's what we got for the last part. Okay, everybody, thank you very much.
Great. Thanks, Robin.
Thanks,
Bye.
Robin. Bye-bye.